must resign or face impeachment.
In a stark reminder of the volatile intersection between politics and personal safety, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was the target of a physical assault during a public event in Minneapolis yesterday. This incident, unfolding amid heightened national debates over immigration and loyalty, has ignited widespread condemnation and calls for accountability. We examine the attack, its context, and the ripple effects on American discourse. The facts first. On January 27, 2026, during a town hall meeting at a community center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Representative Ilhan Omar was addressing constituents when a man identified as 55-year-old Anthony Kazmierczak charged the stage. Armed with a syringe-like device, he sprayed an unidentified liquid toward the Congresswoman, described by witnesses as foul-smelling but later confirmed by authorities to be non-toxic. Omar recoiled but was unharmed as security and attendees swiftly tackled the assailant to the ground. Minneapolis police arrested Kazmierczak on suspicion of assault, and forensic analysis is ongoing to determine the substance's exact composition. Remarkably, Omar resumed her remarks shortly after, demonstrating composure in the face of disruption. This event marks a troubling escalation in the threats faced by public officials, particularly those like Omar who have been vocal on contentious issues. As one of the first Muslim women elected to Congress in 2018, representing Minnesota's 5th District, a diverse area with a significant Somali American population, Omar has frequently found herself at the center of national controversies. Her criticisms of U.S. foreign policy, including aid to Israel and interventions in Somalia, have drawn sharp rebukes from across the political spectrum. The assault did not occur in isolation. Hours before the town hall, President Donald Trump, speaking at a rally in Iowa, renewed his attacks on Omar, questioning her allegiance to the United States and advocating for her deportation. "We need people who love our country, not like Ilhan Omar," Trump stated, tying her to broader narratives about Somali immigrants and alleged fraud in Minnesota. This rhetoric echoes Trump's previous comments during his first term, which Omar and her supporters argue have incited threats against her, including death threats in 2019 following his remarks on 9/11. In recent weeks, tensions have intensified due to federal immigration enforcement actions in Minnesota. The Trump administration has deployed thousands of ICE agents to the state, targeting what it describes as widespread fraud involving Somali immigrants. These operations, aimed at arresting individuals accused of stealing public funds, have sparked protests and clashes. Tragically, they have also resulted in the deaths of 2 U.S. citizens, Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy, during arrests, shifting public sentiment against the initiative. A leading Republican candidate for Minnesota governor withdrew from the race, citing the operations as rooted in retribution and detrimental to the party's chances. Omar has been a prominent voice in opposing these actions, joining protests and labeling them as terrorizing tactics against her community. In a post-attack interview, she connected the incident to this broader climate. "I've survived war, and I'm definitely going to survive intimidation." Democrats, including members of the Congressional Black Caucus, have echoed this sentiment, condemning the assault and linking it to Trump's inflammatory language. "We are outraged by this brazen attack on our colleague and relieved that Congresswoman Omar is safe," the caucus stated, praising the quick response from law enforcement. They called for a thorough investigation and emphasized that such violence is unacceptable in democratic processes. That on the other side, some conservative commentators and social media users have questioned the incident's authenticity, suggesting it was staged for political gain. Posts on X, formerly Twitter, highlight Omar's reaction, charging toward the attacker rather than retreating, as evidence of orchestration. One user noted Kazmierczak's background as a raging liberal who recently shifted political allegiances after personal setbacks, implying motives unrelated to broader politics. Others, like commentator Mike Crispy, criticized media coverage, comparing it unfavorably to reporting on the assassination attempt on Trump. Capitol Police, however, have described the attack as unacceptable and are collaborating with federal partners to pursue the most serious charges possible. From a commentary standpoint, this episode underscores the perilous state of political polarization in the United States. Omar's experiences reflect a pattern where minority voices, especially those challenging entrenched policies, face disproportionate scrutiny and danger. Trump's repeated targeting of Omar, dating back to her election, has been criticized by civil rights groups as fueling Islamophobia and racism. Yet, allegations of fraud linked to her personal circle, including a Department of Justice probe ordered by Trump, add layers of complexity. Critics point to her husband's business ties and past scandals in Minnesota's Somali community as legitimate concerns, while supporters argue these are smears designed to delegitimize her. The ICE operations in Minnesota highlight a broader policy debate. The administration claims they address billions in stolen aid, but the collateral damage, including mistaken arrests and fatalities, has eroded support even among some Republicans. Omar's district, home to the largest Somali diaspora in the U.S., has become a focal point, with protests involving flag burnings and confrontations with agents. This has led to accusations that Omar is obstructing justice, countered by her assertions of protecting constituents from overreach. Looking ahead, the attack raises critical questions about security for elected officials and the role of rhetoric in inciting violence. Similar incidents, from the 2022 assault on Paul Pelosi to the January 6 Capitol riot, illustrate how words can translate into actions. Democrats urge de-escalation, with some calling for investigations into whether Trump's statements constitute incitement. Meanwhile, the DOJ's probe into Omar could intensify scrutiny, potentially distracting from substantive policy discussions in Minnesota. Local leaders like Mayor Jacob Frey have engaged in dialogues with the White House, but community unrest persists. The withdrawal of the GOP gubernatorial candidate signals internal party fractures, suggesting that aggressive immigration tactics may backfire electorally. As we conclude this segment, it's clear that while Omar emerged unscathed physically, the incident exposes deeper wounds in the American political fabric. Protecting dissent and ensuring civil debate are foundational to democracy. Whether this event prompts reflection or further division remains to be seen. For now, investigations continue and the nation watches closely. Thank you for joining us. Stay informed.